Preschool. Mrs. Nelson here, school counselor for Harrison Huskies. Today we're going to talk about the word embarrassed and what it means to be embarrassed. And in order to do that, our friend Grover from Sesame Street is going to talk about times that he was embarrassed and how he handled those situations. And sometimes we don't handle them very well, but let's see how Grover did his, okay? So this book is called, Oh, I Am So Embarrassed, okay? One day, Grover came home for lunch with Harry Monster. I'm glad you could come, Grover dear. I hope you like tomato soup and blueberry muffins, said Harry's mom. Oh, yes, thank you, Mrs. Monster, he said. Harry, she said, you and Grover may go wash your paws, please. There they are, coming to eat some dinner. Yeah. Huh. The monsters ate lunch around the kitchen table. Grover, wouldn't you be more comfortable if you took off your baseball cap? Asked Harry's mommy. Oh, no, thank you, he said. Just then, Grover knocked over his glass of milk with his elbow. Milk spilled across the table, getting everybody's napkin wet. Oh, said Grover, I'm so embarrassed. Don't worry about it, Grover, said Mrs. Monster. It will wash right out. She mopped up the milk and poured him another glass. Grover was so ashamed that he could not eat another muffin. Look at his face. That's embarrassed. Yeah, that's an uncomfortable feeling. Makes our body feel yucky, huh? Yeah. The next day, Grover met his friends to play ball. Hey, Grover, cool baseball cap, said Ernie. May I see it? Oh, no, I'm sorry, Ernie. Grover looked down and counted his toes. Why not? Asked Ernie. I'll be careful. I just want to try it on. I can't take it off, Grover cried. Look at his face. He doesn't look very happy, does he? No, because he's still feeling uncomfortable. Let's find out. Let's continue on and see why. Grover ran down Sesame Street and waited. Whop! Harry kicked the ball so hard it went flying. Then it bounced and rolled down the sidewalk towards Grover. I will get it. Let me get it. I have it, yelled Grover. He ran to the ball. He reached out, but the ball rolled right through his furry fingers and right between his fuzzy feet down the sidewalk. Uh-oh. And all his friends are over here watching, right? Let's see what happens, right? Clang! The ball crashed into Oscar's can. What a catch, Thimblefingers, said Oscar. Remind me not to choose you for my team. Oh, I'm so embarrassed, said Grover. Just then, a pesky little breeze sneaked up Sesame Street and swept Grover's new baseball cap off his head. Oops, said Grover. He put his hands over his face. Everybody looked at him. Then everybody laughed. Grover, you have a new fur cut, cried Betty Lou. And it's so short, said Ernie. Yeah, said Oscar. Now instead of a fur brain, you're a fuzz head. Grover was so embarrassed. Yeah. So are we understanding what the word embarrassed means now? Yeah. And when we are embarrassed, our body feels yucky inside. It just feels really sad, maybe mad. And so that is called an uncomfortable feeling. Don't feel bad, Grover, said Harry. It will grow back. Your fur will be shaggy again before you know it. Harry handed Grover his hat. Besides, I know something more embarrassing than going around short fur, said Harry. What? Said Grover, pulling his hat firmly down over his eyes. Wearing water wings. Water wings are for babies, said Grover. But I can't swim yet, said Harry. And that's not the worst part. My little sister doesn't have to wear water wings. She can already swim. How embarrassing, said Bert. So at some point in time in our life, we may or may not feel embarrassed, but other people understand because they've experienced the same thing. Listen, said Betty Lou. One day, my mother walked into playgroup and put my rain boots and slicker into my cubby right in front of everybody. Oh, no, cried Grover. He began to feel a little bit better. And then, after playgroup, I was the only one who had to walk home in rain boots and a slicker, Betty Lou told them. Mothers can be so embarrassing, said Tilly. Mothers are just wanting to take care of you, but sometimes they can be embarrassing, huh? Sometimes they do things when you're little and you're just like, oh my goodness, right? But it's just because they love you. My daddy made me wear a sweater over my Halloween costume, said Elmo. How could he? Gasped Grover. I bet he said it was cold outside. Right, said Elmo. It was awful. I was a scary ghost, but when I put on my sweater to go trick-or-treating, nobody thought I was a real ghost. Everybody knew it was me. Oh, it was so terrible, said Grover. And there's Elmo right there. Grover's finding out that other people have experienced being embarrassed and being uncomfortable, huh? Guess what my mommy put in my lunch box instead of peanut butter jelly sandwich one time? What? They all wanted to know. You are not going to believe this, said Farley. A salad. They couldn't believe it. Ew, said Betty Lou. No cookies? Asked Cookie Monster. Weren't you embarrassed? Asked Tilly. I was embarrassed once, said Tilly. My cousin came to spend the night and he found out my secret. I was so embarrassed. What secret, Tilly? Asked Elmo. That I like to sleep with the nightlight on, he said. Everybody laughed. Everybody else likes night lights too. So he's not alone. You probably like having the nightlight on, huh? And there's her with her salad. Him. I guess that's a boy, right? It's a salad. I got so sick to my stomach on the bus once that I had to ask the bus driver to stop, said Ernie. Everybody on the bus looked at me. I grabbed my mommy's hand in Nichols' department store once. Only it wasn't my mommy, said Elmo. It was some lady I had never seen before. Boy, I was so embarrassed. And there's Ernie getting sick on the bus. There's Elmo holding a stranger's hand because he thought it was his mommy. Yeah, uncomfortable feelings, right? Yeah, you think those things are embarrassing? Asked Oscar. I did something much worse than any of those little things. No, they cried. What did you do, Oscar? I don't know what came over me, grumbled Oscar. I must have lost my senses. What did you do? Asked Big Bird. Well, Maria gave me this terrific present for my birthday. It was a crumpy old bent fork. Yes, they asked eagerly. Well, I had to say thanks, of course. But then I kissed her. No, Oscar, Ernie said. You kissed Maria? It's true. I was so embarrassed. That's all right, Oscar, said Bert. Everybody gets embarrassed sometimes. Yeah, but you know what, said Oscar. Maria was embarrassed at all. The end. And so the moral of the story is people do get embarrassed and things just happen. But that's okay. Just to be able to understand it's an uncomfortable feeling and it's okay to be uncomfortable. And you can always turn it around because there are usually other people that have been embarrassed, mad, or sad, just like you, so they know how it feels. All right, until our next story. Bye.